So, hello everyone. Just welcome in another world where I am right now. It's with the sky, it's amazing. I'm just gonna try to wear some earphones. That's better. So, hopefully, you enjoyed a little different opening for today while I'm standing next to an amazing building, I think. And we also have a very special sky at the moment. And that is because it's a quite rainy day today, but there's sun every time in between. So we have a sunset or almost a sunset. It is somewhere there behind us, but it's giving amazing colors in the sky. So, but welcome in Antwerp. I'm still in Antwerp, and yeah, the music. I have to check what is called. Uh, I think it's electricity, so something like that. It's called. One moment, I have to place my. While we're looking here at the building at the back already, it's so big the building that I can hardly get it into my screen completely. So, yeah, there we are. There we are. So, welcome all of you in the city of Antwerp. My name is Stefan, guide in the Netherlands and also in Belgium, and I'm happy to be back. I think it is 2 years ago that I did some tours in Antwerp, but never over here. Never over here. And when I was thinking about coming back recently, I thought like, okay, maybe it's cool to show a little more than only the old Antwerp, like the medieval 16th century Antwerp. That's also beautiful. Also the more Baroque part, but there's also harbor. And I don't know if all of you know that, but I've been living for about 9 years in the city of Rotterdam in the Netherlands. And Rotterdam is a harbor city with a lot of modern architecture, with harbors and everything. So, and I always love that. I always love that how it is. And Electric Fields, yeah, that was the name of the music, Electric Fields. So, just and I just decided that when I was, by the way, looking over here, seeing this landscape in the sky, and I thought like, oh, this fits the best. Um, no, but I lived for several years in Rotterdam, and I love the industrial. I love the harbor. So I thought like, okay, I'm just gonna show you some other parts of Antwerp too. And I'm now here next to, yeah, one of the most famous building architecture wise of Antwerp. So it is the building of the Port Authority. By the way, I'm now going to change the screen so I can show you it a little better. One moment, please. So I'm just gonna change the screen while we looking over here. And by the way, the tour is now started, so no more time to say hi. That is only for the pre-tour, of course. Um, no, but over here, over here we see this amazing building of the port authorities, and as you can see, it is nowadays a double building. There is an old building, and the old building is. The old building is the old building of the fire department. The fire department that has been here in the harbor for a very long time. And on top, that is the new building of the Port Authority, designed by the British Iranian architect. Um, so Zaha Habib, I think it's if I'm doing the right pronunciation, the British Iranian architect, and she designed this. And the thing is, the port authorities of Antwerp, the city of Antwerp, was asking her to design a new building, and they needed 2 times more space. But the thing is, the building under there, she was not allowed to change anything in that building because it was all protected. So she had to come up with a solution. And she was also thinking like, okay, what is Antwerp? What is Antwerp? Antwerp is a port city. Antwerp is the city of ships. So in her design, she was inspired by Oh, and now I see some light, by the way, turning on. She was inspired by ships. So it is like a giant ship that is placed on top of the old building. And not only that, there's also something else. If you look at the little windows, if you look at the shape of the windows, what is the inspiration, do you think, if you look at all the little windows? And by the way, it also has a great reflection. By the way, in the meantime, it's starting to rain a little. But yeah, that's also part of the sky, of course, nowadays. Sails, portholes? No, there are no sails, no portholes. What is something that has all these triangles? All these triangles. And that is also, and Sue, you are completely right. Sue is saying diamonds. This is diamond, and Antwerp is also the city of the diamonds. So, and by the way, in the meantime, I don't know if you can see it. You can see me in one of the little thingies. So I'm now just, wait, I'm just going to show you myself. I'm standing over there. I'm now waving at all of you. Hello, everyone. So, very clever. Yeah, so a ship and the diamonds all together in her design. Sadly enough, the architect, she died just before the building was finished, so she never saw the end result of the building. And the city of Antwerp, what they did is they decided to name the square over here after her. So nowadays we're walking over here on the Zaha Habib Square next to the building of the port authorities. So, okay, let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna show you a little more of this area of one of the, by the way, the oldest ports of Antwerp, or the first big ports that were built already in the 16th century. We will see some dry docks. We will see several pieces of art. We will see, hopefully, even a more beautiful sunset, and a little the rough harbor. Of course, ships. We'll see also several ships. The rough harbor, but because I have to go a little further, what I'm gonna do again, while it's now really starting to rain a little, I'm gonna get again one of these typical cute little bicycles, because with that we can easier see other parts of this harbor complex, because it is huge. It's huge. I said already in the tour before, Antwerp, a harbor city, very original harbor city. So what I'm gonna do over here is get my number 2033002, and then another code. I'm not gonna tell that because otherwise everyone is gonna use number 3. So okay, bike number 3 is ours. They're all the same. Ah, it's these big drops that are falling now. Big drops of rain, but it is summertime, so it's not very cold. So, oh, but it feels like I feel like has not been raining for a long time. So you can smell. Is it the ozone? I think that I can smell now in the sky. So just to give you a little idea. Wait. Um, so I don't know if you can see it, but it's really there's now a lot of rain coming down. So I will be a little wet during this tour. So we're gonna cycle. The thing is, in this harbor, it's an old harbor, so we still have a lot of these cobblestones. As you can see now, you are looking via a stabilizer, but I can feel everything. So we're going around this building. So, uh, and of course, if you have any questions about the harbor, about the building, just let me know. And I'm gonna ask you also kindly if on my tours I always have a pre-tour that is to say hi to everyone, and after the pre-tour I prefer not to that everyone is not saying hi person A, hi person B, hi person C, because then it takes over the whole chat, and the chat is also of course for questions. Okay, so you see the weather change. Welcome in, I would almost say the Netherlands, but this is Belgium, but it's the same climate. Same climate. Well, we're looking here at the right side over the harbor. The harbor We're just at the start of the harbor. It's quite big, going all the way into the Netherlands, by the way. You also see a lot of these modern windmills. We're going over a modern drawbridge. So, wow, it's on one hand, it's amazing to have this with rain because the sky colors are even more beautiful. Very grayish, indeed. And over there you see the newer parts of the port with all the big buildings. Uh, but that is where we're going back towards the city. And you can also see that here at the right side they're doing a lot of maintenance. And that's because they are building over here not only a new waterlock, a very big waterlock, but also tunnels under the Scheldt River. So at the right side is the Scheldt River. We will see that later again. And then, just to give you an idea, here at the other side, look how amazing this building is, together with this sky. Sorry, there are some, trying to keep it higher, but here we have the whole building in one shot. Wait, I'm just going to try to get over the, look at this, for a beautiful postcard. A little industrial, but with an amazing sky. The drawbridge at the left. Okay, let's go. And I said already, this part of the harbor is one of the oldest parts, and we have to go back to the 16th century. It was going very well in the city of Antwerp. And what happened, more and more ships were coming over here, and the waiting times to load and unload your ship was going up until 6 weeks in total. So they decided we need a bigger port, and that took some time. But in the swamp that was over here, they were starting to build several new docks, and not only docks, also several dry docks, by the way. So, and over here we have now several of these old ships. They placed them on the quay, so you can see them. This is also part of a museum, and then here at the left side, I'm now showing it, we still have the dock. So originally they were building the ships inside over there, and when the ships were ready, they were of course opening the doors of the docks, and then they could go onto the sea. And now, yeah, it's an interesting area over here. Even with all these houses, there are just some buildings left, not a lot, and that's all because of the new waterlock that they are gonna build over here. And then here on the left, there are several docks, by the way, next to each other. So we see a second dock, a third dock, and several other barges. Maybe I should just call it barges that are placed over here. And if you're coming over here during daytime, then you can visit all of them and seeing how this part of the harbor was working. And you see the beautiful other buildings. So you now also maybe imagine a little more why the design of the Port Authority building fits so very well in this area over here. So, okay, it's raining a little less now. By the way, over there in the background, you can see the tower, the high tower, of Our Beloved Lady of the Church. That's completely in the middle over there. Okay, I'm just going to the other side of the road over here. Ooh, we're still on the bike, by the way. You may be thinking it's now going very smooth. That's only temporarily, because we will get in some cobblestones again. And yeah, so 16th century they started building this, and between the 16th and 18th century, this was the main port. And then in the 19th century, the ships were getting bigger and bigger. And what happened with this area? The ships were getting bigger and bigger, and most of them were too big to enter this area anymore. So for a time, this area over here was only in use to ship people. So one of the big lines from Europe to the US and Canada was starting over here in the port or in the harbor of Antwerp. So most of the other ships were not here anymore, just the big ocean cruisers, ocean lines. And which one was over here? Not the Holland America line, because that was Rotterdam. Well, over here you had the Red Star line. And maybe some of you even have ancestors that came originally in and between 1890 and 1930 with one of the ships of the Red Star line all the way to the US or Canada. So I'm gonna show you some more. We're going over this little bridge, and then there's more of the harbor to see. Okay, so you see over here at the right side, we are protected against rising water that's everywhere over here. Okay, I'm on this bike, and I didn't change the height of the seat. So the seat is a little, if I'm on a kid bike now, so I'm feeling like a kid. And yeah, if you're thinking about ocean liners bringing people all the way to the other side of the world, so then this beautiful statue over here on the side fits very well. To be honest, I don't know the name of this bird in English, to be honest. I only know it in Dutch. In Dutch it's called an aalscholver. But you recognize these birds because you can see them sitting a lot of the times on a pole, and then just with their wings, like as you see it right now. No, it's not an eagle. No, it's not an eagle at all. It is a lot smaller. It's a lot smaller bird. It's also not an osprey. A comrade, something with com, I think. No, you can see it sitting on a pole. A cormorant. Thank you, Leslie. A cormorant. That's the name. So that is not a name that I'm using every day. So a cormorant is a bird that you can see a lot in the Netherlands and in Belgium, and they're also traveling. They're traveling every year, 2 times per year even, like with a lot of birds. And this is because this was also the place where so many people started a new life, going to the new world, the other side of the big pond, and that's why it's placed. And you can see over here at the left side the Red Star Line. The Red Star Line. This was that building where a lot of people started their new lives. In total, about 2 million. In total, about 2 million people went over here, stepped in one of these ocean liners to the US, to Canada, to start a new life. That's really interesting to know. And you can see that it's still quite uh, harbory over here. So, but yeah, that stopped in 1930, and then after World War II, this part of the harbor was hardly in use anymore. So what happened then is it became a little dingy area, old, dingy. People didn't like to come here anymore, so it became even a little dangerous area. So. Um, and yeah, the city of Antwerp was then thinking like, what can we do? And then in the 80s, they decided, let's give some of these old harbor buildings to some artists. So they opened it for artists. Plus, they decided to have some of the older machines and ships that they were using in the harbor to place it over here as an open air museum. And as you can see here at the right side, we see 12 different old cranes. And I will come a little more nearby, but then we get cobblestones. But there are 12 cranes just next to each other to show how it used to look over here in the old days. And by the way, this is also interesting. We're now going nearby the river, and you can see that there's a big machine over here. They can completely close it to have the quay about, now what is it, a little over 1 meter higher. So they can close this in case the water is getting too high. Okay, some cobblestones over here. It will get worse, by the way. So it used to be all like this for a long time. But look, old industrial cranes over here. And also on this quay over here, it was the place where the first cranes were placed. And more were added later on. Wait one moment. So you see, I'm now very nearby. We're very nearby. So next to one of these cranes, and of course these are all old cranes, nothing used anymore nowadays. They are a lot bigger, but it is amazing that they're still over here. And yes, Leslie, we are on an area that is called Het Eilandje. Het Eilandje. And Eilandje, that means a little island. Little island. So it was a little island just in between all the. Oh my goodness, this. I don't know if you can see this. So this is how my steering wheel is now going. No, but it was a little island just in between all the big forts, all the big docks that were built over here. Um, but yeah, it's not even that little, to be honest. Whoa! And I know Google knows everything. I'm also using it a lot myself. My goodness. By the way, in Belgium, we're now in Belgium. Belgium is quite famous because of these roads. So there are a lot of places where you still have these cobblestones, and there are also a lot of bike races over it. So imagine that you're in your racing bike, high speed, and then going over a road like this. Unbelievable. And at the end of the race, you will not feel your butt anymore, of course. So, but in the 80s it was not going well, and then because of the open air museum and also by giving back several parts to artists, bit by bit it was getting better. And nowadays, we're now in 2023, Het Eilandje and this area is really a hipster area. So as you can see here at the left side, on top of the old building, there are a lot of restaurants. There's a lot of cars that you can find. So it's really revived. Okay, let's go. I'm just going under here. It will go on like this a little more, by the way. So, well, it's not that bad. As long as I don't have to do bike races on these kind of stones, it's okay. Uh, and I think I maybe told this already in another tour before, but in the Netherlands, or in Dutch, we're not calling this cobblestones. Yeah, also kasseien, that's sometimes the name, but we're also sometimes calling it child heads. So because every stone is about the same size as a child head, so it's the same size as a child head. So it looks like you're cycling over a lot of child heads, like over here. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little stop because there's more. There's a lot more to see. Here at the left side, on Het Eilandje, you see there is another big building just made in the middle, and you can go to the top, by the way, but that's maybe for another tour. But that is a new museum that's made, a museum called Museum aan Stroom. That means that's literally museum on the water or museum on the river. And this is a museum that is telling the history of Antwerp. So, but not only that, you can also go for free to the top, and you have a famous view all over the city. So it is an amazing point to see, amazing viewing point to look all over the city. So, but that is maybe for another tour. Okay, just gonna cycle a little more. You see, there are a lot of little restaurants and places, and then there is another amazing building here on the side, and that is the building of the what we call in Dutch het loodswezen. That means that if you are coming inside the harbor of Antwerp with all these turns and things, you need a pilot. You need a pilot that's working for the harbor of Antwerp, and these pilots, they're all working in this building, waiting till the next ship is coming inside. And this, this is already a building that's standing here since the 19th century. Um, okay, just going. You see at the left side there is the higher place that is to protect against the water, and at the right side the water level is now at loodswezen exactly. Loodswezen. No, but at the right side you see the Schelde River, the Schelde River, and it almost looks like we're going in the water over here. It is so wet. Some reflection. Oh wait, some reflection we can do just from the quay, together with the river. So it almost looks like ice, so it's a little slippery. So I'm not going. I'm not going with the bike on there because I don't want to end up in the water. But over here, yeah, it's now we have a little too much clouds here on the side. But normally, this is the best place in town where you can see the sunset. So you can see the sunset normally. So because so many people were coming over here, the city of Antwerp was thinking we have to do something about it. So what they did some years ago, they placed over here. Look at this. They placed over here a little tribune, a little place where you could perfectly see the sunset with a beautiful building at the side. And then, and thank you, Rona. And then at the background, you have again the building of the pilots. And what do we see on top? We also saw it at the start of this tour. We have again a man standing over there. And what does he have in his hand? He has a hand in his hand, standing for the hand of the giant Antigone that he killed. The giant Antigone, and he threw his hand in the water. So that's why everywhere you see hands in the city of Antwerp. Handwerpen, exactly. So hand, exactly. The hand is back. The hand now on top of this building. Uh, yeah, and I told it already in the last tour about Antwerp, but the story goes, or the myth goes, that one day, long time ago, there was a giant living here next to the Scheldt River, and every time when someone was coming with their ship over from the ocean, want to come into the city of Antwerp, they had to pay toll, but not everyone had enough money anymore. They were coming back, and maybe they gambled a little too much, so they had to come to Antigone. And then when someone was coming there and did not have enough money, what happened? Then he was cutting off your hand and throwing it in the river. So in this river, there's still, the story goes, there are a lot of hands laying of sailors that could not pay the toll. Until one day a hero named Brabo, that is by the way also an area, Brabant, he came over here and he said like, I have to do something about it. So he started to fight with the giant, and at one moment he had the opportunity to cut off the hands of the giant, of the giant Antigone. And what he did, of course, with the hand, he threw it in the Scheldt River. So also nowadays there's still a giant hand, but we saw it coming out of the water earlier. You've maybe seen that. So, and the story goes that that's where the name Antwerpen is coming from. Ant is hand is ant, and werpen is the Dutch word for throwing. So hand throwing. There's now the city of hand throwing. And okay, all the way over here at the left side, I said already, you see some things coming back every time. So we have at the back part still Bravo with the hand, and in front of us there is a beautiful statue, and this statue is for um, this statue is for um, the seamen that were killed during World War I and World War II. And you can see that there is a seaman standing in front of us. It is, by the way, in as everywhere in Belgium, both in Dutch and in French. And we see a seaman standing over there. And then we go to the top, you see 1914, 1914, 1918, and 1940, 1945. And then on top of this pillar, you see another element that we will see more often, the diamond again. So hands, diamonds, you see them everywhere. Hands throwing at Olympic Games. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think there was one time another sport that was throwing dwarfs, but that was something else. And I never know if that was Olympic. Okay, we're going out of the area again where it's a little safer. Whoa. And then up to the next part. Whoa. It's amazing sky at this moment. But I want to show you something else. I can do a whole song. Just making just to show you that we're still in the harbor. A lot of films over there on the side. And then we have another piece of art that I want to show you. We have it in front of us. I'm just gonna park the bike and then I can show you. One moment. Okay, because there is a piece of art over here in front of us. And yes, it is hard work for sure. There is a piece of art over here. And it's a little creepy, to be honest. It is a little creepy. I'm going to the other side to come inside for a better view. Okay, just one moment to go around, then we can see it better. And this piece of art, by the way, is called the Charon from Peter Hudson, or the Charon from Peter Hudson. And it is originally built for the Burning Man Festival, a famous festival in the US. And now here on the quay of Antwerp, one of the quays of Antwerp, and we see a wheel, a giant wheel, and in the giant wheel there are a lot of skeletons. There are a lot of skeletons that are going around. And how is this wheel turning? By manpower. By manpower. So the people over here, they all have to make sure that they're turning. So they are together. So without manpower, the wheel is not turning, or at least it is turning less fast, or a lot less fast. And there's also a bell sometimes, and it's full of skeletons. So, and of course, if you want to get this wheel turning, you have to work together. So the people uh, that are doing the ropes, they have to work together, and then the wheel starts to turn. And of course, it is an animation. It is an animation, and it tells the story of Charon or Charon, the mythological gondolier and ferryman of Hades, and who carried the souls of the recently departed across the river Styx. So I don't know if you're a little into that kind of stories, but it is it's interesting that they placed it now here on the quay, the passage to the afterlife here on the quay of Antwerp. So little mythology. So I also don't know all the details of this story, but it is weird. And of course, it is, but it's beautifully made, to be honest. So it's a little creepy, isn't it? It's a little creepy with all these skeletons. Weird, creepy. Yeah, that are the words. A lot of kids now helping. Now, by the way, this is all part. This is all part of the summer festival in Antwerp. So every summer they have a lot of art and also all kind of other things, and also the giants tomorrow that are also part of this festival. So and the whole summer, every evening you can come over here to turn the wheel of Hades. so so wow. Okay, here's a little more that I wanna show you. The last part of this tour because it's still light, so I can show you a little more of the quay of Antwerp. So just let's get back to my bike. I think I now using it already more than 30 minutes, but whatever. I have to pay maybe €1 extra or so. Okay, so Danse Macabre. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, but I also like that you could hear the turning of the wheel. Danse Macabre is maybe for one of my other tours. Okay, let's go and have my Velo Antwerpen again, number 4838, and then we're gonna cycle a little more. Okay, there we go. Whoop. Last part of the child heads, cobblestones. Okay, sorry, I removed my speaker already with the music, otherwise I would have maybe done my tab. Next time, I'll be back. Or maybe the wheel will turn somewhere else. You never know with these types of art. Okay, while it is starting to rain again, we're going over the boulevard of Antwerp. On the right side, you still see the little higher parts to protect us against the water. There are some buildings, mainly also from port authorities and related to harbor activities. And then at the left side, behind this, by the way, beautiful uh, iron. Oh, sorry, sorry, there's a fly flying inside my mouth. So, okay, I'm a vegetarian, but I did eat some meat today from a fly. But there are beautiful apartments at the other side. And then over here at the right side, you see an old part of the harbor again. So nowadays, nothing used anymore, but it is protected. So, uh, but it's a beautiful piece of town. And then at the end, you see already some more. Oh, this guy is going very fast on his electrical bike, by the way. Now you see more beautiful apartments at the left side, very expensive, but of course with an amazing view over the river. And then at the right side we have one of the only fortresses, no, the only fortress that is left. It used to be in the old times because Antwerp was such a big port, the biggest port in the 16th century. They had a lot of fortifications, castles, and everything. But most of them are removed. So and nowadays, this is the only one you can find next to the Scheldt River. So and it's a beautiful piece. And what you can also see is that they built some newer parts. So it's now a combination of old and new. Let's go to the other side. A little. Yeah, it's amazing to see this. And it's an impressive place. And yeah, of course, every time when you're somewhere, we have again Antigoon, the giant again. Here he still has his hand. So here is still where he was asking Toll to come inside. Of course, these kind of fortresses were also used to ask for toll. So if you wanted to pass, you had to pay toll. If not, they were starting to bump you. And let's go. And they were gonna cycle a little on the mountain over here. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, this is on my child's bike. I just did 8 days of cycling in the Dolomites. So I had a lot of mountains, but that was on my racing bike. It is a little different, but look how beautiful it is. So the old part of the fortifications. So nowadays the tourist information is over here with the newer part of the building, and over there you have a beautiful view again over the water. And of course, just gonna park my bike again over here. Not my bike, the bike that I got for a last beautiful view. Oh, I also really like this. What is it? This statue over here. I don't know if this is the giant again. I don't think so. But okay. So I wanna show some last views over the water. So here at the side you can now see where cruise ships can come. So they still can come into the city center or very nearby the city center with a nice sky at the back. And this is now also a good place. So they have, as you can see again, they gave back the part of this, they gave back the side of the river to people. So they made all these walkways like the one over here, because before that time there were a lot of buildings all for trade, but nowadays, so nearby the city, more and more cities are saying like, okay, let's give this back to people because it is has beautiful views, like what you can see over here. So, and this part, you're still in a sort of a transition time. So have a higher place to walk, to see, to have a good view all over the city. It stopped raining again, so I'm happy. I'm gonna change the screen, and always when I'm saying that, then it's going less easy than I was expecting. So you can see that I'm a little soaked after this tour, but I think it was worth it. I hope you enjoyed to see another part of Antwerp, a little more the industrial part, a little less older things, or less old than the city center, and of course uh, some beautiful art pieces, little macabre sometimes even. So no, I want to thank you for joining me today. So also thank you for people that are supporting me, that can be with as a member. So you have all the old videos, but it can also be via the several ways to tip. So, and I'm really grateful for everyone who is tipping a little, because that's the only way how I can keep on doing these tours. And I have a lot of plans. I have a lot of things in my mind that I want to do. Hopefully soon also on a website with all the with all the guides. That's a lot harder than we expected, but we are getting there. We're getting there bit by bit. No, so I wanna thank you again for joining. I'm going for, I think, for a beer now, because I'm in Belgium and they have the best Belgian beers over here. I hope to see you again another time, maybe tomorrow already. Tomorrow I'm gonna search for two giant dogs that are going through the city center, because it is the festival. Royal Deluxe, the famous theater company, is coming over here for the fifth time, and they say that they brought now two big dogs, two big dogs, and maybe even some other things. So we will see that tomorrow. They don't. Nobody can tell me exactly where they will be, so I have to find them. But the thing is, it's not a little dog; they are giant dogs. So most probably I will find them. So that will be tomorrow at my time, 4 p.m. And then on Saturday I will travel to the city of Ghent, the most, I think, together with Bruges, the most beautiful medieval town that you can find in Belgium, where I will do two different tours and hopefully again, uh, some a beautiful sunset. So yes, I'm gonna have a beer and hopefully no more meat. I had my portion of meat for this week, I think, with that little fly. So thank you again for joining. I hope to see you again. Bye bye.